After 2 years in captivity, the final 20 surviving hostages have been released by Hamas. They are back home in Israel tonight. President Trump was here in the region. It was the U.S.-led ceasefire that helped get both sides to this pivotal moment. President Trump in Israel speaking to Parliament, and in Egypt with leaders from all over the world as he landed here. The hostage reunions were just underway. The scenes playing out all day in Israel, former hostages wrapped in the arms of their families, the joy, the tears of relief. Crowds cheering and waving Israeli flags as a hostage convoy drives outside a military base near Gaza. But amid the celebrations, the somber moments too, as the first caskets carrying the remains of some of the 28 hostages who died arrive in Israel. But only 4 bodies have been reportedly returned so far. Thousands of Palestinian prisoners released by Israel as part of this ceasefire. For President Trump, a defining moment on the world stage. The president surrounded by world leaders, leaders of the Arab world, and many of America's closest allies, signing the ceasefire deal in Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt. The president declaring the war in Gaza over, praising a, quote, historic dawn of a new Middle East. But he knows many questions remain about what comes next here. Still, on this day, the release of these hostages has been historic.
With the sun rising across the region this morning, there was hope that today would bring an end to a brutal nightmare. After 738 days, 2 years of waiting and praying, the crucial window was here. The final surviving hostages were finally coming home. Early this morning, the first signs. Hamas beginning to hand over the 20 remaining living hostages to the Red Cross. Vans driving the hostages out of Gaza City, the first group to cross back into Israel. Crowds lining the streets, cheering, waving the Israeli flag, hoping for their first glimpse of the hostages.
Good morning, everyone, from Tel Aviv. We're on the air.
We were live on the air 1:35 a.m. this morning, 8:35 here in Tel Aviv, as the first of the hostages were being returned.
At this moment, the first of the remaining 48 hostages, 20 of whom are believed to still be alive, are now being released by Hamas.
Hostage Omri Miran stepping out of the Red Cross van. His wife, Linsey Miran, watching for her husband, and then she sees him. Overjoyed, her husband was finally coming home. The Israeli military releasing these images, the first of the hostages back safely in Israeli custody. Ron Brzlowski wiping away tears. Twin brothers Gali and Ziv Berman, both 28 now, both taken captive by Hamas, held apart from one another, now reunited and hugging, given uniforms of their favorite soccer team, the Maccabi Tel Aviv. The brothers inseparable before October 7th, working together as lighting technicians before being taken hostage. The Red Cross van doors opening, revealing more of the Israeli hostages inside. Guy Gilboa Dalal waving, smiling to the crowd, holding up the Israeli flag, making a heart with his hands. The family of hostage Elkanah Botbat cheering and dancing after receiving a video of their son ahead of his release. His parents then speaking to him. He tells them everything is okay. Then other hostages began FaceTiming their families, still being held by Hamas, but just moments from being freed. In many of the calls, Hamas fighters still standing right next to them. This mother, Julie Cooperstein, speaking to her 23-year-old son, Bar, a Hamas fighter seen right there, staring into the camera with her son. The mother of hostage Matan Zangaukar, speaking with her son moments before his release. She tells him, the war is over. You are on your way home. In Tel Aviv's Hostage Square, we witnessed the thousands gathering all weekend here. They were there again first thing this morning, anxiously waiting. Then, the jubilation. The tears as the first prisoners were set free. That son, Elkanah Botbat, reuniting with his wife, Rivka. Eitan Horn reuniting with his family. Kisses from his mother. 21-year-old Nimran Cohen reuniting with his family. His mother saying to him, my hero son. 24-year-old Evyatar David back with his parents. His arms around their shoulders as they told the rest of the family he was home. Guy Gilboa Dalal, who you saw waving from that van, not long after, He was back with his family. And that mother, Julie Cooperstein, who had spoken to her son Bar with that Hamas fighter right next to him, now with her son again, the hugs and the tears. Omri Miran, who you saw stepping out of that Red Cross van, now reunited with his two young daughters, Ronnie and Alma, just 4 and 2, playing with them. Overnight, their mother had shared this image of the girls smiling, their suitcases packed, with the caption, "Prepared and ready for Daddy." There were so many heart-wrenching images from the October 7th attack. You may remember Noah Argamani on the back of a motorcycle, screaming for help, being driven away. Reaching out to her boyfriend, Avinatan Orr, his hands held behind his back, being marched away. The video of their abduction was seen by millions around the world. Noah Argamani was rescued by the IDF last year. Her boyfriend was still being held. Tonight, they are back together. That hug at long last, and a kiss. But tonight here, this day for many bittersweet. As part of the ceasefire deal, Hamas agreed to return the remaining bodies of the hostages who were killed, including 2 Americans, Omer Nutra and Itai Hen. Tonight, the remains of only 4 hostages have been returned so far. Some of those remains carried in a convoy, sent for identification before being returned to the families. Overnight here in Hostage Square, we met this man wearing the face of his father on his shirt. Rotem Cooper was waiting for his 85-year-old father's remains to be returned. Both of his parents were taken captive by Hamas. His mother was released soon after, but he never saw his father, Amram, again. And late this evening here, he told us his father's remains still have not been returned. He wishes he was one of the families who could now, finally, hold a funeral.
The lucky one, so to speak, which is a weird thing to say, that you're going to be going to a funeral. Okay, that's the best you can expect.
As part of this historic exchange, Israel agreeing to release nearly 2,000 Palestinian prisoners, most of them detained since the start of the war. Red Cross buses passing through the rubble in Gaza to pick them up. The detainees driven back into town. Loved ones hugging each other through the bus windows. And here on the ground, the first of the Israeli hostages were being returned, just as President Trump touched down here in Israel. Many of the families of the hostages crediting the president with applying pressure on Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to end the war and to help bring the hostages home. But there remains here a very challenging road ahead. More than 67,000 Palestinian lives were lost, according to the Hamas-run health ministry. And hundreds of thousands are now marching north, only to find their homes gone. Today, President Trump invited to Israeli parliament to speak, telling Prime Minister Netanyahu, "You've won. The war is over. Now it is time for peace and prosperity." And in Gaza, the president acknowledging a monumental task ahead.
After tremendous pain and death and hardship, now is the time to concentrate on building their people up instead of trying to tear Israel down. We don't want that to happen again.
While tonight on the ground here for the Israeli families who waited more than 2 years for this moment, a nightmare finally over, and one more reunion. Eitan Moore now back in the arms of his parents.
It was truly something here today. So many parents embracing their children who are now home.